What's up, everybody? It's Late Night Keefe here, GhostCultMag.com. I'm back with another live stream. If you're new here, thanks for being here. You could spend your time with anybody to talk about rock and metal, but you're hanging out with me, so I'm very appreciative. Decided to jump on and do a live stream. I had an extremely busy and long day, and I'm kind of tired. Swedish Kingfish passed by. What up, what up, what up? So I had a very long day and can't get into it right now, but needless to say, trying, but overall positive. And so I thought I would jump on and talk about this Sick New World lineup. Amaro time, what up, brother? And Gremlin01 is here. Amaro time, long since I've seen one of your bands live. Too long. Need to see you soon. And probably should just get together for a beverage or a coffee or a drink or something. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this Sick New World lineup, and I got home kind of late in the evening, after 9, and I started putting this thing together in the last hour, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump on. I'm going to do a little live stream discussion about Sick New World, because it's all anyone has been talking about all weekend. They started teasing it out last week. Billboards all over Vegas, and digital billboards and actual billboards all over Vegas, stickers and flyers and everything. Hey, Anti-Mosbeast, Gabe is here. What up, brother? We've been messaging. I hope you're well. Thanks for those who are tuning in. And yeah, I wanted to talk about some Sick New World and thoughts on this on these two lineups, two Sick New Worlds for 2026. We have already sent in the application for our team to go cover it. Right this second, I don't think I'm going to go, especially not the spring one that's coming up soon. There's some other stuff that I'd rather go cover in March, like Mojave Experience or Hell's Heroes, or both. But on second thought about that fall one, it's very tempting to just go out there. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. We are a small business. We are worldwide with no corporate backing. We have some ads on our website. We sell some stuff, but essentially a small business. The best experience to watch this is YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram, but I'm also hanging out with all of y'all on TikTok. Good to see you. Tango Abraxas is here. Yana passed by. Smalls Bar has passed by. Dinson Keisha 5, what up? So yeah, if you're into System of a Down and new metal and industrial metal and some stoner doom and some avant-garde rock, Sick New World is for you. I went to the inaugural one and I had an absolute baller time. Dark Deliverance is here. Jordan has passed by. Zapan is here. And I went in 23 and it was a blast, and you'll hear more about that later. And let's get into a little bit of the minutiae. I'm just going to drop a comment, unfortunately, not to you on TikToks, but if you want to see the lineup for yourself, go hit up the page, our website, and we'll do the tip menu in a few minutes. But yeah, let's bring in the deck. Pow! Hey, what's up? Q, good to see you. It's the awesome power of the Q. Remember AOL Instant Messenger when you had the little opening music, or the door opens and someone would come in and be like, "Ba-da!" Or your announcement music? Am I the only one that remembers AOL Instant Messenger? So yeah, man, this picture is by our own Kim Hansen, who covered Sick New World in 2023 with me. And so that was the big announcement earlier today. We'll talk about System of a Down and their impact and why they are back headlining again. And again, some of the misnomers about the reason why 25 was canceled, and I can get into that. Just some housekeeping. As you know, every Monday I have been announcing new bands for the Mojave Experience Festival taking place in Joshua Tree, March 20th and 21st, 2026. I'm really excited about this. If you love stoner doom and psychedelic rock and the true spirit of these desert scene bands, Queens of the Stone Age and Yawning Man and Sleep, and more recently High on Fire, and more recently, I mean the last 25 years, you might want to go to this thing. So stay tuned. Every Monday, I'm jumping on for a short live stream where I do a little recap of who's been announced so far, and I announce two new bands every damn week until the lineup is revealed. Also, my weekly recap show is this Thursday. Here's a sneak preview of the graphic I did with me, giving the horns. I forgot where this was, but cool picture of me in my flannel and with the double horns there and my doggo shirt. So I'll be on Thursday afternoon, evening time with a recap of everything you missed this week. Thank you so much for liking the live. SC, Chican85's here, Pumbaa's here. Appreciate anything. The best thing you can do is honestly follow us. If you like rock and metal, if you want to hear more about things like did my camera just go out? I think my internet is whack. All right, I'm good. Skullbasher's here. What up, bro? Jay's World is here. Jism, 1980. Jay's World Order. Nice. So I'll be back on Thursday night. We also have an interview running in a few hours with Devin Shittiger of the Acacia Strain. Their new album, You Are Safe From God Here, is out this Friday. Brutal new album out on Rise Records, and I talk all about it with Devin, who I've interviewed before. Looking a lot like Kerry King in this photo. I'm not going to lie. Looking like Kerry King. Like Kerry could be Kerry King's son. I don't want to say twin because that's probably incorrect. Twisted Turtles is here. Follow the Breeze is here. Dr. Pepper AK is here. White Southern is here. Okay. Anywho, so that's the housekeeping. And also we did a big live stream on Friday with my buddy Ken Pierce of piercingmetal.com to talk about the life and death and impact of Ace Frehley. I was in the KISS Army as a young little lad, a little shaver, and this death has hit me pretty hard. But they're all kind of adding up. Anthony Jackson, we'll talk more about it on the recap show. Bass God Anthony Jackson, John Lodge of Moody Blues, Ozzy, still very fresh for me. Brent Hines, there's so many losses, so much grief. But thanks again, SC311. And again, here's the tip menu. If you're feeling generous and you're feeling tipsy, we are not corporate run. So here is the tip menu, how you can support us. We always answer your questions for free. So please join the conversation if you have some thoughts about Sick New World or anything you want to talk about in metal. I will post all the comments on YouTube and Facebook and especially and Twitch, perhaps, if they're valuable. And we will, for some general support, you can tip us $3. You can buy us a coffee on Ko-fi for $6. You can be a real one for $25. Obviously not my real life ones, but real ones. And, if you want us to rate your song, I think I raised that up to $25 because it just needs to be that. Normally, we never charge for an album review, but like if you wanted me to, somebody on TikTok or Instagram wanted to have me rate their song, they can jump on YouTube and do a super thanks for $25. And also, I do music business consulting. I'm a marketing and social media expert. I'm a music industry expert. That is not a boast. That is the truth. A lot of people who give advice to bands suck ass and will steer you wrong and tell you absolutely bananas, dumb shit. Ken Kaltenbach is here. What's up, Kenneth? How are you, Brett? Pal, late night Keefe here. C asked, do I think Limp Bizkit will make music? Yes, absolutely. They have been working on new music. I love that song, Making Love to Morgan Wallen. Fuck Morgan Wallen, by the way. They absolutely have been working on a new album. And I think they knew that Sam might perish in the meantime, and they will just get a new bassist. And what bands have all original members? So few bands have all original members. STP has had 2 lead singers die on them. I love Jeff Gutt. I think they're great with him. SC, great question, and thank you for joining in the conversation. And anybody else who wants to ask a question, join in on the conversation. And here's our QR code on YouTube if you want to. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. If you want to freeze, dun 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 dun, dun freeze frame, and then cash at me some money. Anything's appreciated. It all goes back into the company. Fieldy is going to play bass drum. That would be fucking amazing. Fieldy A can 100% do it. I think he's a slightly different style than Sam. Gabe, great fucking thing. I would love to see it. You love to see it. I think oh, my blood pressure pump is here. That's pretty adorable. And I took my meds before I went on the air, so unbelievable. But yeah, man, I would love to see Fieldy. Apparently he's got this like super group going on with Christian Olde-Wolbers and Grayson Nucratum of Sepultura and now Trivium, at least touring. And it's supposed to be Christian's new version of what he was doing with Fear Factory on guitar when Dino was out of the band. It was him and Burton. Interesting. Super interesting. But anyway. So Sick New World announced their lineup. And I'm going to embiggen this for a minute just to do some brass tacks things. Sorry for y'all again on TikTok who don't get the benefit of this, but thank you for watching, everybody. Lex is here. Vinyl Guy is here. So Sick New World announced Vegas for next April, which again, I went and it was May and it was hot as fuck. So April should be a little cooler. I thought it was a good idea to move it to April. That would be insane. Where did you read that? Please let me know. Was it a rumor site or was it like Loudwire, Blabbermouth, or TMZ or something? Because like I hate to say that TMZ is a trusted source, but they are. There's a lot of junk metal websites that do not give real news or reviews. They just kind of throw clickbait shit out there. There was websites talking about Ozzy being dead for months when he was very much alive, which really was very insulting to me. But again, most of these people, I have a journalism background. I also played in bands for 20 years. I'm also a professional marketer for 17 years and a social media expert. So like anybody who's not one of those things, I don't take them very seriously at doing what I do. But anyway, maybe that's conceited. You tell me if I'm not humble enough. C says, I wish I could go, but I'm not going to Vegas or Fort Worth to see the few bands you like in the lineup. Yo, much respect. Concerts and festivals are outrageously expensive right now. And we're going to talk about pricing in a minute because I have thoughts. So System of a Down is headlining both of these. Now, just to let you know that Sick New World was created by System of a Down's management so they can headline this festival. It was their idea to put together System of a Down's favorite couple of bands and a bunch of other bands. So people are like, why is System headlining again? Because System of a Down is their festival to do. The festival was not canceled this year because of Metallica and Linkin Park. That is a fallacy. I have inside knowledge. I'm not a big rumors and hearsay guy. Pingpen, Pacific Northwest. What up, yo? We're talking about Sick New World, and you're on this thing, and I'm so excited. I was hoping to get an interview with Maddie, but it did not come to pass. What's up, Zach, with the #1 gifter badge? Good to see you. Best Breaking Benjamin album. Good question. Probably their second one with the big hits. It's kind of funny. You don't see a lot of butt rock on this festival, like traditional 90s hard. There's no Creed. There's no Godsmack. There's no Breaking Benjamin. I think it's kind of interesting that they really leaned into their first few lineups. I think last year's lineup, a lot of these bands are back. They were already booked. They had contracts. And, they did recycle some of these lineups. Now Korn has headlined Sick New World. I saw System, Korn, and Deftones back to back to back. Dude, Creed is really good live. I've seen Scott live solo, and not my favorite thing, but he did a few Creed songs, and he did mostly his solo stuff. And then, Creed has done 2-3 sold-out U.S. tours and a whole bunch of cruises, which are notoriously hard to pull off. Sold-out cruises. Like, someone is paying $3,000 to $5,000, $6,000 to go on a cruise to see Creed and a bunch of other bands. Wild. I would like to see them make new music, but we'll see. I love Tremonti. Tremonti's a fucking beast. I would go if Linkin Park was playing. I'm sure we will see Linkin Park in a future Sick New World. So System is back, and that is why. Korn is going to co-headline Vegas. Makes sense. Deftones is going to co-headline in Texas. And Texas is a very interesting. Fort Worth is a super interesting choice. Great to fly into. Busy metropolitan city like Vegas. has the infrastructure to support hotels and a fairgrounds, and the weather in the fall. Yeah, it's like hurricane season. What's up? Liz is here also, and Slam Banana. You have a great name. Honestly, hot take. Finger 11 isn't. Oh, Finger 11 is hella underrated. I'm interviewing them. They have a new record coming out in November, and I have an interview coming up soon with Scott. I've been kind of doing too many interviews, and I'm trying to kind of delegate them out to my team. But I wanted to interview Finger 11 again. Sorry, System. Bleh. It is 11:48 in San Francisco right now. I've had a long day. Yeah, man. Stay tuned. We'll have a little clip on our socials like TikTok, and thank you very much. I have probably done thousands of band interviews at this point in 17 years of journalism. And I got a very nice compliment this week that somebody I interviewed went back and told the label, like, that's my favorite guy to talk to. Get him again. So cheers to me. We're going to do a little more breakdown on the lineup in a second. Bring Me the Horizon and Slayer are obviously your true third bands on these bills that are eye-opening. Bring Me the Horizon has done a lot of festivals in the U.S., but not a lot of headline tours. And Slayer, this is their first kind of announcement for 2026. I suspect there'll be more. They're going to play an exclusive set, 40 Years of Rain and Blood in 2026. Fucking killer. So, that's a whole thing. They've done it before. It's not like they haven't done it. I don't accept co-host anybody. Yeah, I've seen Bring Me the Horizon twice, and they were fucking fantastic. I saw them at Aftershock 22, and I thought they were fucking fresh live, and we've covered them all over the world. Ghost Cult has a huge team in Europe that does reviews and festivals and concerts, and we've covered them. So I feel very fortunate. We have some photography to show you of some of these bands. So somebody on Reddit and on the Sick New World Facebook group already covered this. Who are the repeat bands and who are the unique bands to each one? So the bands, if you're watching this, sorry again, TikTok, the bands in red, circled by some conspiracy guy like that Charlie meme from Always Sunny. The Bronx Remembers. What up, the Bronx Remembers? I remember the Bronx because I'm from the Bronx, New York. Go Yankees. All right. All the bands in red are playing both festivals. The bands in blue are exclusives. So Korn, Bring Me the Horizon, Acid Bath. We'll talk a lot about them in a second. Danny Elfman, sketchy guy, great musician. Cypress Hill, Health, Carpenter Brute, who I love those bands. Corrosion and Conformity, Bloodywood, End It, great fucking hardcore band. Pigpen, who was just here in the chat, and maybe a few other bands. John 5, is that John 5? I can't tell. All right, so that's pretty cool. Acid Bath, man, I'm so glad they're back, and I absolutely need to see them. I have failed to seeing them twice. This sucks. System of a Down. So for Texas, here's your unique bands. Slayer, Down, The Prodigy, who we just covered in Greece. We have a coverage now in Athens. Death Heaven, killer new fucking album. Haywire, punchy hardcore. Amira LFT, who I've heard a lot about, but I don't know well. I mentioned Death Heaven. And a few others, but like some overlap, but not a lot of overlap. So I think this is inherently interesting that I am rooting. If the Blue Jays beat me and the Dodgers beat the Giants in the World Series, who are you rooting for? I am checked out of baseball. My football season is over. Hockey just began. Rangers off to a bad start. My Giants in football suck, but we have some hope for the future with the young quarterback and running back. And basketball, Knicks, I guess they got a good team, but like until they win one, they haven't won in my whole lifetime. 53. So what the fuck? But anyway, super interesting. There's, obviously some there's obviously going to be some overlap in some of these bands. And so, I'll put myself back on the screen. And so let's take each lineup. Giants will come back and make the playoffs. And very interesting. I do live in a very big sports town here in San Francisco. So let's talk a little bit about these bands. So again, System is back. I still think there's a lot like those stadium shows. If System can continue to get along and coexist, they will continue to just print money. A lot of people didn't get to see them. They went played very little for 15 years, and they have played a lot the last few years, mostly festivals. These stadiums shows in America is a trial run for probably next summer or the fall after. They're doing Europe all next summer with Acid Bath and Queens of the Stone Age. What an absolute banger! 1, 2, 3. Like every kind of metal fan is represented there, right? And it's just insane that Acid Bath is going to do arenas in the UK, and they're doing one arena show in their home city, which makes sense in New Orleans. I wouldn't mind going to that, but too short notice, probably. Korn, and Korn has headlined Sick New World twice, co-headlined, and or were the third headliner officially. This is a great picture, also shot by Kimberly Hansen of Ghost Cult, who shot quite a few of these photos I'm going to walk through tonight. And, Korn is riding high, man. They, got to mention a Fieldy earlier. I just feel like Fieldy and David will never be invited back. The chance for them to mend fences and come back was that 30th anniversary show last year at this time at the BMO soccer arena in LA, soccer stadium. And I think that ship has sailed. They love Ray, and Ray Luzier is one of the best drummers in the whole fucking world. And my dude, Raw Diaz, is been playing bass for them, and he left his spot in Suicidal to go to Korn, so certainly a bigger payday. Pussifer should play. They just released the new single. Well, it's interesting. I was going to talk about like who is not on here at the end, so stay tuned. Bands not on here, and I already said like no butt rock, so no Five Finger Death Punch, who would be kind of a band in my mind, even though I don't particularly love them. I don't. But they would be a band that I would think they would do this, but they're really leaning into this time off thing for their singer. But anyway, Korn, every time I see them, they bring it. Jonathan is in great shape vocally and personally. The band is, rarely been as tight as they have been in a festival setting, co-headlining set. When I went in 2023, System played for like 2+ hours, was one of the best shows I've ever seen them do. Korn played for like an hour and a half, Deftones hour and a half. So that is like whole headline set worthy times. Scooter is here. It's very late where you are, Scooter. I'm so sorry. I'm going late talking about Sick New World, but I'll talk more about it on Thursday's show when you usually show up. There's a nice group watching. I appreciate everybody tuning in late. I didn't intend to go on this late. So here's Bring Me the Horizon. And like I said earlier, they really haven't over-toured the U.S. a lot. And they have been kind of changing their sound. They're coming up on 20 years, I think, as a band. I've seen similar bands not elevate to headline status. I think we've seen Parkway Drive is about to become kind of a headliner. And I think it's super interesting that Bring Me the Horizon is starting to get these higher slots on festivals. So Bring Me the Horizon is the third to last band at Sick New World Las Vegas, and they're going to bring it. Don't work too hard, Scooter. I'm very sorry. Evanescence is playing both Sick New Worlds in 26, and I believe they will have a new album out as well. Super interesting. I've seen Evanescence a few times, and Evanescence with an orchestra, which was lovely, except for the tone deaf dude next to me, sings like warbling like a dying cat getting choked out next to me for the whole night, which was fucking terrible. But Evanescence plays the hits. Amy has come to terms with their early, when she was like 18 or 17 and 18 and writing Bring Me to Life and My Immortal and stuff like that. And she's really, that song with Spirit Box was killer. No Spirit Box on this festival. Super interesting. Their festival set was like one of the biggest talked about things in 23. But yeah, man, Evanescence always puts on a good show. Even if you're not a fan, you kind of stick around and everybody, it was a time. It was a time. I should go back and rewatch the Kevin Smith Daredevil movie. Okay, Acid Bath, right? So fucking good. So happy for them. I know that Dax hates the music business, loathes the idea of being a tool of the industry. His solo album, honestly, is one of my top 10 albums for this year so far. There's a few more coming out that I haven't heard yet, but like I love that fucking album by him. It's surely in my upper, maybe even top 5. I have to really kind of reevaluate what I'm going to put on my list. But Acid Bath continues to excel. I hope this means a true headline tour. They're just kind of doing it a little bit at a time. They kind of like slowly announced a series of shows that eventually look like a tour. Would they make new music? I don't know, but I would like to see them in person. And Sammy is a dude who loves, I love that dude, and he's been very kind to Ghost Cult. This was shot by Evil Rob at the very first Acid Bath hometown show back in business. So shout out to Evil Rob. Knock Loose, arf, motherfucker, Knock Loose. These Sick New World shows have had a lot of hardcore bands, or bands that have kind of transcended hardcore. Scowl and Knock Loose and Turnstile all had, Code Orange, all had kind of like huge sets at these festivals. So, man, Knock Loose is in a very prime spot. They just were the next to last band at the one-off Slayer headline show that also featured Suicidal and Exodus and Cavalera's brothers playing Chaos ID. So Knock Loose, again, like that popularity, they're gonna tear it the fuck up, bro. And then Cypress Hill, who doesn't, they've done Aftershock, they've done Sonic Temple. I don't believe they have ever played Sick New World. And there's always some, like, one rap associated group at least. And, Cypress Hill is fucking incredible. I've seen them live a few times, and memorably at Woodstock 94 with an enormous spliff from the Black Sunday tour. And they're going to bring it live. They're fucking great, and they're like, leaning into their history and their anniversaries. And I'm very pumped for this. Also, Mastodon. Again, talked about losing Brent Hines just a few months ago. Mastodon just plugging away and moving forward, and there is a new Mastodon album being worked on. So perhaps we will have a new Mastodon record by the time this comes out, or at least the announcement of one. We will see. They own their own studio in Atlanta now that they recorded, so that's a big help. Wes Not Wes is here. What up? And Filter. Filter was great. I saw them, I think, the second band on at Sick New World 22. This is earlier this year when Filter was opening for Jerry Cantrell. Filter did have to cancel opening for Jerry Cantrell at the East Coast leg of that tour because Richard has been having some health issues, but supposedly full speed ahead on a new Filter record and a lot of touring for next year. So that's interesting. And so just a real quick refresher. I'll just embiggen this one more time as we get to the 30-minute mark. Once again, feel free to like and subscribe. Let me put the pay links in the comments just so you can tip if you wanna, whoever's still watching. But not, you don't have to, but I appreciate it. We did get quite a few tips last week. I was pretty pleased. Those are your links. So really quick, just to discuss a few other bands on this lower down on the bill. I mentioned Acid Bath, not a headliner, but to me, pretty big. This is Vegas again. Manson is here. Just to run through some of these bands a little bit more, right? Let's see, where am I? Yeah, so Filter. So just a few more bands here. Manson, of course. Can't forget him. Wage War, Under Oath, Danny Elfman, KMFDM, Melvins, Health, Carpenter Brute, Kitty again. Failure, who doesn't play a lot of festivals, but I'm really looking forward to seeing them. Twin Tribes has a killer new album out. Lords of Acid. So, there's going to be that industrial, probably the silver stage with a bunch of industrial metal bands. I see Norma Jean. I see Better Lovers. So there's some more hardcore adjacent bands. Vows is another industrial band I fucking love. Snot is going to play the Vegas Sick New World. Alien Ant Farm. Looks like Speed of Light is on there, who I like. TSS is a solid band. Glassjaw, Tsunami, Scowl, Coal Chamber, Terror. So you have hardcore, industrial. Who's going to get booed? Dez? I feel like you mean Dez, right? I don't know. Perhaps. Clutch. I wouldn't be surprised to see like an Acid Bath Clutch tour with Melvins. That would be super cool. I think these festival lineups are a good indication of potential tours, like potential who is going to be touring and other festivals. It's a very good bet that a lot of these bands will be on, if they're not already on Welcome to Rockville and Sonic Temple, they're going to get added to it because it just makes too much sense. All right, I had to turn off bedtime mode of my phone. Sorry. Phantom Cadaver is here. What up, what up, what up? Derat Midan Band is here. What's up, what's up? Oh, Manson. I don't think so, man. His tour was very well attended. He's going to have his fans there. I don't think Manson's going to get booed. His album, by the way, was objectively awesome. And I suspect that he's going to have his next record. It's already in the can and done. And I bet they're going to announce it in time for this festival. For both festivals. In between, probably. I think it's entirely possible. I don't know. I feel like he has crossed over from hated back to loved, like Limp Bizkit. Also conspicuously absent. So anyway, here's the Texas lineup. And again, System and now Deftones instead of Korn. I just saw Deftones. They were fucking amazing. New album, Private Music, is one of the best records of this year. I would not be surprised if it once again is the Ghost Cult Album of the Year. Deftones have had 2 other albums be Album of the Year. Slayer playing all of Rain and Blood. That is going to be a massive draw. Even if you hate all these other bands, Slayer playing Rain and Blood is going to bring Slayer fans. And I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of them leave after Slayer, which might make for a better experience to see System and Deftones, to be honest. So Prodigy, we just covered Prodigy, and we know that Keith Flint passed away a few years ago. They have been touring extensively. It's like sort of the anniversary of their couple of first albums, and they put on a very high energy show. Prodigy over Not Loose at Texas, and then Mastodon and the local guys Power Trip with their new kind of reform thing. I believe we're going to get an announcement of a Power Trip label signing and new album soon. And we'll see how it's accepted. Chino wrote most of the riffs on the new album. That is correct. Chino wrote the majority of the guitar riffs on Private Music because Steph was dealing with his personal health issues, and then he came in and kind of put Steph's stuff in it, on top of it. So this is the most Chino a Deftones record has probably ever been since White Pony. But at the same time, a lot of guys stepped up. And I love Private Music. We did a whole video on it. I can link it in the replay on YouTube. So let's talk about this lineup. Obviously, we already have System, and now we have Deftones. Killing it. Killing the fucking game. Headlining arenas. They played, when they did the Bay Area in the spring, I went to the Chase Center. That's where the Golden State Warriors play basketball here in San Francisco. And it was absolutely sold out. And it was a big mix of younger fans and old school fans. And really so that's a band that is still getting bigger and bigger. And I wonder if Deftones would be the next band to be able to do stadiums. I don't know. I think System of a Down has toured less than Deftones. Korn has toured less. Clutch Down, Mastodon Ministry, right? Dude, we're going to talk about it. I'm so fucking pumped. I'm a little more pumped now that I look carefully at this Texas lineup. Here, ergo, why I'm doing this conversation, Ken. But yeah, Deftones, man, killing the fucking game. And Dia de los Deftones is a couple of weeks away. Slayer playing all of Rain and Blood. They should not do the Rain and Blood on the guys. We know that wreaks havoc with the playing, and it sounds like a wet cat being played on the guitar strings. Looks cool on that the Warfield DVD, but they should not do it. Maybe they'll have it rain on the crowd like Gore. That would be fucking fun, actually. Just unsuspectingly jizz blood on all fans, fake blood. But Slayer's gonna Slayer. I think they have yet to go to Europe, and I think that's the thing that hasn't been announced yet for next year. I know people are still mad. They said they were done. They said they were finished, and now they're back doing occasional things. The money is too big for them, man. And this is why some of these bands can't walk away. I just saw Priest and Cooper, and it was one of the best shows I've seen this year. So some of these older guys can bring it. Megadeth farewell tour next year. No real thrash bands on this thing except for Slayer. Kind of interesting. Also, here's Prodigy. And again, they're going to be playing probably a greatest hits set And they bring the energy, man. I heard, we ran a review of their show in Thessaloniki, which is outside of Athens, and maybe it's the second biggest city in Greece now, and they killed it. They fucking killed it. So like, it's kind of a nice change of pace to get like Slayer, knock loose hardcore, punchy people, and then like some heavy dance music with riffs, Also, Power Trip playing at home. And again, I'm pretty convinced Power Trip is going to announce a label signing. Everybody, they are like the Orbit culture of 2 years ago. Everybody has been trying to sign Power Trip, and they're just trying to pick very wisely. But I think it's already probably been done as a deal, and they have music ready that Blake Ibanez was talking about putting out. And I don't, a lot of people, I don't know how they feel about Power Trip without Riley. Riley was fucking awesome. I hung out and spent time with him. I interviewed him. I spent a whole night with him drinking where we talked nothing but radical politics, and it was fucking amazing. Great dude, and I miss him seriously. But I don't fault the Power Trip guys for picking up and moving on. So here's another one that I think was like kind of came to me like, Under Oath is a band like August Burns Red, like Killswitch Engage, like a year ago, Under Oath was headlining over Spirit Box. And I think today, if this tour was booked, Spirit Box would be headlining with Under Oath opening for them. But really good band, high energy, classic metalcore, like 2000s metalcore, still making new good music. Their last record was very strong. And they put on a great show. So I think Under Oath is a band that maybe not one of the headline bands or main stage bands, but certainly a band. Maybe these are the bands you should go out of your way to see. Ken Kaltenbach says, man, that new Megadeth song Tipping Point slays. It really does. Isn't that video something where Dave gets waterboarded? Was he trying to make a political statement there? He probably was. Yeah, it's a killer song. I mean, since Dirk came in the band, they really, like, Dave has clearly been inspired because of the better drumming. Not to disparage anybody else that has drummed with them. Nothing Face. Dude, I miss Nothing Face so much. I just saw somebody at my karaoke last night had a Nothing Face shirt on. Glassjaw. That's right. Glassjaw is on this thing. I think that's a band. Yeah, I don't love Daryl's voice. They are like the prototypical post-hardcore metalcore band. I don't love Daryl's voice. I don't know if you're not a fan with that smiley cry laughing face, but all fucking good. Let's see who else is on here. So Down, man. Down is not on the main stage, but I think Down is poised for a huge year next year. And I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Down COC Clutch tour like the old days. They are working on a new record. It's basically in the bag. Don't know if that means Pantera will be doing less stuff outside of the Metallica headline tour. I know Down has been waiting to come back out for quite a while. COC has a double album coming out on Nuclear Blast. I'm sure they're going to want to tour it. Would Pepper do double duty? Vision of Disorder, man, I was never that big a fan. I know that everybody was kind of swinging on their nutsack in New York City when I was coming up at that time. Good band, not quite a great band to me. But if I was like a Long Island hardcore kid, I would absolutely be sweating VOD. I don't know. I think Tim is a good vocalist. Blood Simple is a decent band. I just didn't love them. I don't know. Not a big, huge fan. Like one of my least favorite Roadrunner bands. And then Ministry, man, they're playing both of these things. This is another great photo, Dutch angle style from Kim Hansen. Man, Al looks great, sounds great. The last couple of times I've seen Ministry. Oh, Ken, I know you were going to love Down with those hearts and exclamation points. Yeah, man, I'm pumped for a new Down album. But Ministry has maybe the best lineup they've ever had, honestly, like top to bottom. Pepe from King is crushing it on the drums. I kind of feel bad that King is not getting back out there as a result, but just fucking absolute majesty, just absolute majesty by Ministry. Great fucking band. Monty Pittman on guitar, Paul D'Amour, original Tool bassist on bass, just John Bechtel on keyboards. And we're going to get a new Ministry album next year. I don't know if it's going to be in time for the first Sick New World, but surely going to get announced. That is the final Ministry album, supposedly, on Cleopatra Records. Paul Barker and Al Jorgensen gonna make are already making their final album for Ministry. And then I wonder what Al will do next. 12:12 on the clock. I'm almost done, everybody. Snot is on this lineup, and I am excited for this. I still have not seen the new lineup of Snot. And in this photo here on YouTube, Sonny Mayo, who played this one gig and left the fucking band, did not want to continue. And Doc Coyle has been filling in, but I feel like Doc Coyle is going to be busy next year with, God forbid, and his solo stuff. But yeah, man, I would love to see Snot again. I love this band. I love Lynn Strait. I have so many Snot stories. Ken says Madball, New York hardcore band that rocks. Bro, I love Madball. I know Hoya Rock is not really doing the band anymore. But and I think Freddie Madball is kind of like a weirdo conspiracy nut a little bit. But fucking absolutely killer. Set It Off is an all-time classic. Demonstrating my style, fucking classic shit, bro. Classic New York hardcore. Great fucking band. They have a hard time keeping a band going, though. But, like, yeah, they have a lot of shit coming up, dude. Yeah, Snot, bro. Like, one of the greatest debut albums of that era. And then the singer and his dog get killed in a car crash, by a drunk driver. Fucking stupid. And Speed. So, like, if you love hardcore, you need this band in your life, and they are playing this. And this is a band I think that I would skip if you have one of these situations where you've seen a lot of these main stage bands. I would skip one of these main stage bands to see Down, to see Speed, to see Tsunami, to see Scowl on a festival stage, on maybe a smaller stage. I would skip one of these other bands. And of course, Better Lovers. Like, they're so fucking good live, and I'm so hyped for this new Better Lovers album. Here's me interviewing Sonny of POD wearing my festival shirt here. Look, I'm a lot chubbier here. Wow, I'm like maybe 30, 40 pounds heavier in this photo, almost 300 pounds. I was dying that day. Still, that shirt still fits me. But here's me interviewing Sonny of POD at this show. And POD had a new album at this show 3 years ago, and it will be 40 years in April. So I wonder if we will get a new POD record in time for this. POD fucking killed it. They played early in the day. They didn't have any ego about being on or whatever early. And they absolutely kicked ass. And me and them had a great fucking time. Absolute great time talking. So this is a fun picture, a little candid. I thought I would share with y'all rather than a concert POD photo, which we have many to share. And so, yeah, let's talk a little bit about some of these other bands. Wage War, KMFDM, who I think is working on a new record again. Death Heaven, Kitty, who was magical at the few times I've seen them. Failure again, Lords of Acid again. Haywire again. Violent Vera, I don't know who they are. Again, Alien Ant Farm, Terror, Tsunami, Down, Clutch, Ministry, AFI. AFI's new album is fucking awesome. Davey Havoc's weird porn mustache is very disconcerting. But porn mustaches aside, their new album's like, let's have a goth album. Back to the goth AFI. And it's like real post-punk vibes. So I'm not mad at it. I'll be honest with you. Not mad at it at all. So what are your thoughts? Which of these two lineups do you think is better? Which of these two lineups, would you be into? And let's just talk for a last second about who isn't on here. So again, no Butt Rock, no Godsmack, no Five Finger Death Punch, no Breaking Benjamin, no bands like them. No Adelita's Way, even though they're based in Vegas. There is no Limp Bizkit. A little surprise. I thought finally Limp Bizkit would break through and be one of the top bands on this thing. No Linkin Park. Metallica has other plans next spring and summer. And I think it's a very internet conspiracy thing that the reason the show was canceled in 25 was because of Metallica and Linkin Park. Not so. Gabe says Vegas is the better lineup. I think Vegas is the slightly better overall lineup, but I will tell you that Slayer and Down and Clutch on the same day that's a biggie, and that's a serious biggie. So let's see. So yeah, Sick New World. Spirit Box is not on here. They were one of the best bands in 22. Nice to see Cold Chamber back on here again. I feel like again, Dez will see be very interesting to see the reception. Their fans are always very loyal. Cold Chamber and not Devil Driver, by the way. But again, like as long as they can keep that going, you might as well. And no Fear Factory, no Static X. You know, just kind of interesting. But you know, some omissions definitely, but not other than Limp Bizkit, not wildly unexpected. So yeah, that's my take on the two lineups of Sick New World. My hope is that we will cover at least one, if not both of them. We did cover 2023, and it was a fucking blast. I probably won't be going myself. Yeah, man, they look pretty good. There's a lot of good festival stuff coming up. Sonic Temple, again, Hell's Heroes in Houston, Roadburn again this coming April. We always cover Roadburn. Damnation Fest is coming up in a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's the dealio. So that's my take on it. They're very manageable, less than an hour. We have a new interview running with Devin from the Acacia Strain coming up in a few hours. I have a podcast interview coming with Perturbator, who is an incredible industrial artist, in case you like that stuff. And then in his most like synth wavy record ever that's out now. And then I'll be back on Thursday with the Weekly Ritual Ghost Cults Rock and Metal News Recap Show, hosted by moi, yours truly. Deeply appreciate everybody for chiming in and being part of the conversation tonight. Thank you so much to my real ones, Gabe and Q and Ken. Kenneth, thank you so much, dude. Always a pleasure. Scooter was popped in earlier. Super appreciate all of y'all on the TikTok. If you like what you've seen, give us a like and a subscribe. If you feel tipsy, feel free to tip us. And that's the show. I'm gonna fuck off and go to bed. So thanks for being here. I'm Keefe at ghostcoldmag.com, and we are out. See you soon. Peace, Gabe. Thanks for being here.